Hi everyone, it's Sandra Nomoto, the Content Doctor, and today I'm going to take a little bit of a detour from content and talk a little bit about the ways that I have stayed creative during the pandemic, and we're going to go into a little bit of self-development. So the first tip I have is about the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is the sixth out of the 7 major chakras in the body. The 7th is the crown chakra, which resides up here, and the third eye chakra, which resides here in the prefrontal cortex of the brain, is responsible for creativity. Now, what I've heard is that the 6 and 7 chakras here are always open. So if you're able to clear all of the other chakras throughout the body, that'll help you stay a little bit more creative and open up that third eye. Talking about the chakras can be a completely different video, which I'm not going to go into right now, but basically you want to clear that throat chakra, which is responsible for communication, and you want to make sure you're communicating as positively as you can. You want to take care of the heart chakra, which is responsible for feelings of love, being grateful for what you have and being in service. You want to take care of your solar plexus chakra, which is responsible for decision making, gut health, that sort of thing. And the root and sacral chakras are responsible for your thoughts and your feelings. So the more clear and positive your thoughts and feelings are, and going all the way up the chakras, the more creative you're going to be in that third eye. The second tip I have is forcing yourself to be creative. I know that kind of sounds counterproductive, but you really have to push yourself and make sure that you're practicing that. So for me, I like to practice singing and keyboarding about once a week to every other week. So if I find that I'm slipping, what I'll do is that I'll practice and then make sure that I post something on social media to prove that I actually did it. It's like having an accountability partner. So it doesn't really matter if the piece of art was good. It's more of a progress maker and saying that, hey, here's something that I'm doing. It's more about sharing and not worrying about how much likes or engagement that you're going to get from it. The third tip I have is giving yourself time to dream. So this is somewhat like relaxing, journaling, and really just asking yourself what you can do now that'll contribute to you having the best life post-pandemic. So for me, I really took some time to think about what other kinds of services I can offer post-pandemic and what's really going to highlight my own talents. And what came up was book editing. I started going online and looking at courses on how to do book editing and ended up signing up for one. I'm really excited to finish the course, take the exam, and start packaging up some services that I can use to help potential authors. The fourth tip that I have is taking a break from social media. If you're like me and you have to do social media for your business, it can be quite a time sucker. So what I did was I took a 1-week break from social media. I was still doing it for clients, but that gave me time to really think about what kind of content I want to start putting out there post-detox. I recommend doing it for 1 whole week. You might want to do it for less or for more, but for me, 1 week is a really good break. Now that I've experienced knowing how much time I was spending previously on social media, I really try and cut down my time. So every day I spend roughly an hour across all social networks, and I really time myself to make sure that I'm not going over. So I spend about 10 minutes on LinkedIn, about 20 minutes on Facebook, about 20 minutes on Instagram. I might increase that a little bit more on the weekends, and then between 5 and 10 minutes on Twitter, usually when I'm going for my walk. The fifth tip I have is mostly for business owners, and this is offering new packages, services, or products. Now you might be tempted to offer something that's perfect, and what I want to say is aim for a D. Aim for a D is something that I learned in a recent webinar on how to pivot and offer new things, and I think it's a great philosophy because you are not striving for perfection, you're striving for progress. And so when you put something out there, even if it's not great looking, the best way to practice creativity is to ask for feedback, and if you're getting a good response from the new things that you put out, you know that that's something that you can continue to do. The sixth tip I have is working for free. I know a lot of people are in a rough period right now, but if you have services that you can offer, whether it's consulting or an hour of your time, giving your time and offering a service for free is a great way to not only exercise your creativity, but also work that heart chakra, because I am super grateful to give back, even if, like I said, it's an unpaid hour of my time. I know that I'm helping someone else, and hopefully in some way I will get that back in return, even if it's just good feelings. You can also capitalize on that 1 hour that you've given away by asking that person if they can refer you to anybody else who could use your products or services. And the last tip I have for you is to keep sharing on social media. Again, even if you're tapped out for what to post, look back at my previous video for that. I find that the more that I share, the more consistent that I want to be in my daily posting, and the more motivated I am to share content that helps other people. I find that the more consistent I am and the more creative I am and the more ideas I come up with, I'm scheduling almost a week in advance. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next video.
Little girl, keep your head up. Little girl.
Okay, so for those of you who have stuck around this long, I'm going to give you a bonus 8th tip, and that is smoking cannabis. Of course, this is a personal choice. I'm not going to recommend you don't do something you don't want to do, but if you are into cannabis and whatever cultivar that you prefer, I personally prefer sativa, that really helps to open up the third eye chakra. I find that on Friday nights, it especially helps to do that, but I do warn you that if, like I said in the first tip, all of your other chakras are clear, it's gonna really open up like a portal. So very early in the pandemic, I ended up receiving just so much information downloading that I ended up filling a journal's worth, a page worth in a journal. And so that's just a little bit of a word of warning. But cannabis is fun otherwise.